Hello, my name is Charlie, and I'm an operator, director, owner of a childcare facility in the Oklahoma City metro area. We're talking today about some of the problems or the issues that we're facing here in the childcare development area right here today in our state. And the biggest thing I think that we face right now for most centers is going to be financially. Are they going to make it? Are we going to make it? Are we going to have something to come back to? Will we be able to maintain? Will the teachers be back? These are the questions that are going through our minds as directors and owners right now. However, those aren't the only questions we need answers to right now. When we talk about financial safety and security and how our business is going to continue to run after COVID-19, we're going to talk about the subsidy and the pay and how it all comes down from the state. When you hear in regards to subsidy payments, you're hearing that the state owes money to these child care providers. What that means is there's a contract with these centers in the state, and the state pays based on attendance versus enrollment. If you have 50 children enrolled in one center that accepts subsidy and 25 of those children are on subsidy, then you have 25 parents who pay private pay, and then you have 25 parents who get assistance from the state. And the state right now is paying based on attendance, based on the days that these children are coming versus the enrolled spot. When we talk like that, then the centers who are on subsidy are getting very minimal pay right now because the children are being asked to stay home. We're urging everyone to stay home. It is important. It is vital that people stay home right now. However, those centers are hurting because we're being told that we are essential. We're being told that they need us. The frontline responders, the healthcare professionals, the emergency responders, they need care. They need providers to stay open. However, if you don't have enough money to operate, you don't have enough staff, you don't have enough teachers. And that is something that we need to talk about. And the state does need to step in. Just as you've heard, tribal is stepping up and paying on enrollment. That's what needs to happen with subsidy centers. I am a private pay facility, I'm a private pay center, and basically what that means is our parents pay out of pocket. They don't have assistance. So we have really relied on them, and I am very thankful for our families. Our families have said at this time, we want to come back to the same staff. We want to come back to the same teachers. And a majority of our parents are still paying. And we closed our doors at 4:30 p.m. on Friday. We closed our doors based on different reasons, and after speaking with the health department representative, it all became very clear on what is going on and the ability to take care of children. I questioned myself all the way up until Wednesday night when I spoke with the health department representative. I reached out to her and I said, I need some clarification. This is a very well-respected individual. This is somebody I've looked up to, somebody who actually helped me write my guidelines. And I needed to hear from somebody what it is that we're dealing with and what it is that our center should be doing in these times. She urged me and she said, Charlie, we don't know, and you have no idea what you're dealing with. It's dangerous right now. And we're asking, and the state is asking you guys to stay open. And she said, I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair. She actually helped me understand COVID-19 a little bit better. As in previous professions of mine, I've worked with bodily fluids. I've worked with sanitization and disinfecting, how viruses stay on surfaces. I've dealt with all of these things before. We're trained in these things, not just in previous professions, but in childcare industry as well. And she said, Charlie, think of this virus as the best bubbles you can find. And you play with these bubbles and you make these bubbles. And you notice that these bubbles don't fall to the ground. They're lightweight, they move around, they stay in the air, and they burst wherever they want. That's this virus. That's how this virus is moving. Now, I'm not a health professional. She is. She is a health professional. She does work for the health department. And when she said those words to me, I could imagine all of the children that I work with playing with bubbles and how these bubbles float, and the children are just amazed by the bubbles. You think about those bubbles and you think when one pops and bursts in your face, you are now infected. That is how easy you're going to get contaminated. After hearing her say that, I thought to myself, in the best interests of my children, in the best interest of my families, in the best interest of my staff, and in the best interests of my own personal family, it is time to close the doors. I don't want to be responsible for any child being exposed. I don't want to be responsible for any family ending up in ICU or at the hospital, having difficulties breathing or with a pneumonia based on me being able to close my doors. That was big for me. And I don't think any of the providers are understanding how easy it is to catch this virus. I now know that there are some centers who have also closed, most of it based on pay. They have also let staff go in the middle of this. We've not done that yet. I'm thankful for that. They are hiring outside contractors, if they're staying open, to pay additional fees to have their centers cleaned professionally. That being said, I just go back to thinking those bubbles and in the air. You know, if they're spending $150 to $200 additionally to have their center cleaned, and the next day an exposure walks in and those bubbles stay in the air and another child picks it up or a staff member picks it up, then that money that they just paid was not worth the money because it just walked back in the door. Now, I want to move on just a little bit to what it is that I think our state needs to be able to do for providers who are remaining open. I think our Governor Stitt, I think you need to be able to actually be a leader and step up and say who is essential and who is non-essential. We have healthcare providers, first aid, first emergency responders, frontline workers. These people are essential. However, with no penalties being in place right now for non-essential workers and non-essential individuals to be out in the community, they are still bringing their children to care. And we have no grounds to discriminate because it's not in the law. We cannot discriminate against one child over another because you have not put anything in practice. That is a big deal for us. And for the providers who need the money and those who are on subsidy, they're going to allow the non-essential individuals to walk back into their center to encourage more income to come into their facility and to create that cash flow that is needed. That is a big deal. How do we get past that? I don't know that answer without your help. We will need that answer to continue going. There are providers out there who do need and do want to provide emergency responders, healthcare professionals, frontline workers. They want to help every one of these individuals. But again, we need to be paying subsidy based on enrollment, not based on attendance. I want to talk about the safe distancing. In childcare, we're taught to come down to these children's level. We need to be able to be empathetic and to be sympathetic when they're sick. We need to be able to embrace them to do our jobs properly. We don't have the ability to stay 6 feet apart. That's not what we do in childcare. That's not what we're taught. And to effectively manage, create those bonds, we cannot stay that far apart from our children. Centers are looking at buying masks for their teachers. As a little person or as a child, that would be a little overwhelming for me to walk into a center who now won't let my mom and dad enter the center and now wear a mask every day. That's difficult when you're looking at it from a child's point of view. That's difficult when you're looking at it from the perspective of a child. Please keep in mind, children don't always understand what's going on in today's world. There are going to be some mental health issues going on with our children. They don't understand everything, and some of our children can't even see their parents right now. If they're working in the healthcare industry, they're being separated anyways, making it all the more confusing. It is very difficult to maintain what we are supposed to be doing while following the directions that you've set forth in our community. That's a big deal for me. The last thing that I think really needs to be talked about is going to be supplies. Childcare providers are running out of supplies. That's a big deal. And as I was open until 4:30 on Friday, we're walking in and we're seeing limit 1 on tissues, on sanitary products, limit 1, no exceptions. On food products, I was told limit 1, no exceptions. I make meals for 65 children and I can get 2 pounds of meat, no exceptions. This is not the ideal situation for providing care for children. We have a menu that we have to follow or be able to substitute adequately. With no exceptions, this is not okay for us to be continuing in. The state needs to be able to step up and say, if you have a license number, if you have a K-8 number, then you need to be able to walk into a grocery store and buy what you need to provide the menu that you have set forth for that month or for that week for those children. We are mandated to serve certain components in these menus every day. And without the ability to do so, you're asking us to break those laws, and that's not okay. Supplies and cleaning supplies. We use bleach and we're mandated to use bleach. I had no problems getting my hands on bleach. However, Lysol and Lysol wipes, that's pretty important to us right now as we're doing temp checks and we're washing doorknobs and we're spraying ourselves down as we walk into our facilities, whether it's in the mornings or we're coming back from break. My staff was spraying themselves down with Lysol. We don't want to contaminate the environment. We don't want to be walking that virus back in. Our teachers were concerned, what if I expose these children? What if I'm the one who ends up with a positive test and then everyone in the center was exposed because of me? These are our realities, and these are what we need help with. We need your help. We need answers. We need a fine line drawn between essential and non-essential. We do need financial assistance, and we are thankful for the stimulus package that is coming. We're reading fine lines, and we're making sure that we can do everything possible to keep our doors open or reopen as soon as it's safe. But we are going to need some assistance, and we can only get it with answers from you.